This is how a prime Mike Tyson would have knocked Jake Paul out. Mike is close to the ropes and Jake throws a jab to set up a left hook while Mike is moving to his left. Mike catches the left hook and now he is in a southpaw stance with his foot on the outside, ready to throw his backhand.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down. Let's run it. Like, I'd be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
The controversy between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson grew bigger when Gervonta Davis, also called Tank, publicly accused Jake Paul of scripting his fight with Mike Tyson. Davis didn't hold back, criticizing Paul for disrespecting boxing by making it a staged show.
You want me to fight him?
You think it'll ever come to the point where you're going to mix into, I mean, you're obviously doing the real shit, but will it ever mix into the point where the money's big enough?
Yeah, would you ever do a fight like that?
I feel as though in my career I can't do that right now.
Fans of the sport, who had already started questioning if the fight was real, saw Davis's comments as a call for honesty in boxing. People were frustrated with Paul's way of boxing, especially his habit of fighting older or less skilled opponents. Davis's comments made the situation worse and increased the demand for Paul to fight a real, current boxer like him. The push for a fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul comes from their similar age and status as competitive boxers. Davis is in his prime and still an active professional boxer. Fans and critics believe that a fight between the two would be fair and would give Paul a chance to prove he is a real boxer. Davis's anger showed the difference between him and Paul. Davis is an experienced fighter with a reputation, while Paul is a social media star who is seen as turning boxing into a form of entertainment with no real authenticity.
We signed the contract with Netflix and I brought him the deal. So you're welcome, my son. I'm gonna discipline you like a son. So shut the f up with all that need this, need that. We brought you the deal, and remember that too.
The controversy surrounding the Tyson-Paul fight has had a big impact on boxing. The claims that the fight was scripted and the backlash that followed have raised important questions about where the sport is headed and the role of celebrity-driven events. For fans of traditional boxing, the Tyson fight was seen as a low point, with many believing it hurt the sport's integrity. The fallout from the fight has also hurt Jake Paul's reputation. While Paul has built a successful career using his social media following, the controversy around the Tyson fight has shown the limits of his approach. Critics say Paul's focus on spectacle and controversy has hurt his credibility as a boxer.
He's saying he brought you the deal, but you feel like the deal needed you. That Mike Tyson had to be a part of this in order for this room to be filled this way at Fanatics Fest in Hudson Yard in New York. So the disrespect coming from this dude, how does that make you feel?
The fallout from the Tyson-Paul fight was clearly felt on social media, with many fans showing their disappointment and anger. One notable reaction came from a Twitter user, IHoldWLLife, who tweeted, "The Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight was the worst scripted fight I have ever seen. Way to sell your legacy, Mike." This tweet reflected what many fans felt, that the fight was fake and that Mike Tyson, a respected figure in boxing, had ruined his legacy for money. The accusation was serious because Tyson's career was known for his power and dominance in the ring, and many thought this fight damaged those achievements. Adding to the controversy was Jake Paul's cryptic comment when asked about his confidence in beating Tyson during a media interview. Paul was asked about his bold claim of knocking out Tyson, and he responded, "It's already written." Many people saw this as an indirect admission that the fight's outcome was decided before it happened, which fueled suspicions that the fight was staged. The phrase "it's already written" quickly spread online, with fans analyzing its meaning and linking it to rumors that the fight was fake.
And that is it! Mike Tyson! You're next, big boy. This is my sport now. I'm gonna take your throne, brother. Let's go, New York.
Paul's comment not only raised doubts about the Tyson fight, but also made people question his approach to boxing. This cryptic remark, "it's already written," added to the belief that the Tyson fight was planned, making people wonder about his true intentions and trustworthiness. Critics pointed out that Paul often faced opponents who were either past their prime, like retired MMA fighters, or had little professional boxing experience. This kind of matchmaking was seen by many as a way for Paul to boost his record without actually facing tough challenges, which hurt the sport's integrity. Traditional boxing fans saw Paul's rise as part of a bigger problem, putting entertainment over real competition. While celebrity boxing events attracted new fans, they also risked upsetting longtime fans who cared about boxing's discipline, unpredictability, and authenticity. Paul's approach, focusing on spectacle and social media fame, was very different from the values of boxing legends who built their reputations by fighting top opponents in hard matches. The controversy around Paul showed the growing divide in boxing, forcing the sport to balance its traditional values with the influence of celebrity-driven events. It raised important questions about how boxing could change without losing its true identity.
Yep.
Iron Mike, it's an honor to be on the stage with you. You're a legend, but let's get right to the chase. Is this fight happening or not?
It's happening. We're all here.
After the fight, social media exploded with accusations that the match was fixed. One of the most notable reactions was a tweet from user Kitty Gia, who wrote, "I don't care what anyone says, he was paid to lose. It was indeed rigged. It was a publicity stunt for Jake's name." This statement resonated with fans who believed Tyson had purposely held back to let Paul win. The idea that Tyson agreed to lose in order to help Paul's reputation gain traction as fans looked at key moments from the fight. Critics pointed to Tyson's lack of aggression and how he allowed Paul to control the pace as signs that the fight was planned. Kitty Gia's tweet summed up the frustration of many fans who thought the fight was just a publicity stunt, not a real sporting event. As discussions about the controversial Tyson fight continued, attention shifted toward a possible fight between Paul and Gervonta Davis. When asked about the possibility, Jake Paul's team manager stirred more controversy by saying Gervonta needs Jake. This statement was widely criticized by fans and analysts who pointed out that Davis, a respected professional boxer, had nothing to prove against Paul, whose boxing skills were often questioned. The manager's comments seemed to downplay Davis's achievements while trying to make Paul look like the bigger star in boxing. Fans of Davis didn't like this, arguing that Paul needed to face real opponents like Davis to earn credibility. The manager's comments seemed to try to shift the focus away from the Tyson fight controversy and toward a potential big matchup with Davis.
He one of the most delusional people in the world, so I wouldn't be surprised if all this stuff is real. And then Jake Paul gonna say he'll be down to fight Gervonta Davis next after Tank said he would beat the brakes off him.
As the backlash against the Tyson-Paul fight grew, the public started to support the idea of a fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. Fans believed that such a fight would not only give some credibility to Paul's boxing career, but also provide a much-needed break from the spectacle of the Tyson fight. The demand for a Davis-Paul fight came from the desire to see Paul face a real opponent who was in his prime and actively competing. Davis's public criticism of Paul added to the excitement, with fans eager to see how Paul would respond. The potential fight between the two highlighted the growing tension between traditional boxing and the new wave of influencer-driven matches. Many fans saw the Davis-Paul fight as a way to bring these two worlds together, while others saw it as a chance to expose Paul's weaknesses as a boxer.
Honestly, this is a fight I would love to see, bro, because I would love to see Tank knock the shit out of this man, bro, because this man think he all that because he beat up an old Mike Tyson. You couldn't even knock this man out. This man went a whole 8 rounds with you at the age of 58, and you only won because of a vote. So what makes you think you could knock out somebody that's around your age and that's in their prime? And he's one of the best boxers in the world. Yeah, I can't wait to see this fight if this does happen.
After the controversy surrounding the Tyson fight, Gervonta Davis did not hesitate to call out Jake Paul, seeing him as disrespectful to the sport of boxing. Davis's challenge was well received by fans who were eager to see Paul face a real opponent. The idea of a fight between Davis and Paul was especially exciting because they were similar in age, but their boxing records were very different. While Paul had built his reputation by fighting older or less experienced opponents, Davis's record showed his skill and commitment to the sport. Fans believed that a match between Davis and Paul would truly test Paul's abilities as a boxer. Unlike Tyson, who was past his prime, Davis was an active fighter known for taking on tough opponents. Fans were excited to see if Paul could hold his own against a legitimate professional boxer like Davis.
Tank versus Jake Paul. I'm calling it now. I need Tank to knock him out. He's already calling him a bozo for not knocking Mike Tyson out and sharing the ring with him. Jake Paul was calling out Canelo. I would love to see Canelo knock him out too. All I'm saying is we need to not let Jake Paul run and fight another old boxer. You know what I'm saying? He don't need to pull out Roy Jones or nobody else. Don't try to fight Floyd Mayweather. No, you need to fight a real boxer this time. A real boxer in their prime like Jake Paul is in his prime. And no disrespect to Jake Paul, this is my first time actually watching him fight, but he is a big draw. People are going to come in and watch him fight.
The leaked script quickly became the main focus of discussions about the Tyson-Paul fight, making an already heated situation worse. Critics used the script as clear proof that the match had been planned from the beginning, which destroyed any remaining trust in the event's authenticity. For fans who loved the unpredictability and excitement of real boxing, the idea of a pre-written fight was seen as an insult to the sport. It removed the competitive element, turning the fight into a choreographed performance rather than a real battle of skill and endurance. What made the situation even worse was how the alleged script seemed to match key moments in the fight. Observers noticed that Tyson's lack of aggression and Paul's calculated moves matched the script's instructions, which made the situation feel even more fake. This similarity only increased the anger of viewers who felt tricked by a spectacle they had thought was real. The fallout from the leaked script didn't just harm Tyson and Paul's reputations, it led to calls for reform in how celebrity boxing events were handled. Fans started demanding stricter rules, arguing that more transparency was needed to protect the sport's integrity and legacy.
In this video, I'm going to let you know whether the actual fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul was fixed and why it was fixed. Listen, understand it was a big nostalgia hit. It got our attention. It was a big financial promotion for everybody, and it actually worked. Now, the fight was absolutely terrible, and it feels like Paul was holding back his punches, and at times Mike Tyson was holding back punches. If these guys went full out on each other, right, it would look bad on Jake Paul for knocking out a guy that's twice his age, right? And it would look bad on Mike Tyson if he got knocked out as well. It would tarnish his legacy.
The leaked script quickly became the main focus of discussions about the Tyson-Paul fight, making an already tense situation worse. Critics used it as proof that the fight had been planned from the beginning, destroying any trust left in the fight's authenticity. For fans who loved the excitement and unpredictability of real boxing, the idea of a pre-written fight felt like an attack on the sport. It took away the competitive part of the fight, turning it into a planned performance instead of a real battle of skill and strength. What made it worse was how the alleged script matched key moments in the fight. People noticed that Tyson's lack of aggression and Paul's planned moves followed what the script said. This similarity made viewers even angrier, feeling tricked by something they thought was real. The fallout from the leaked script not only damaged Tyson and Paul's reputations, but it also led to calls for changes in how celebrity boxing events were handled. Fans started asking for stricter rules, saying that more transparency was needed to protect the sport's integrity and legacy.
Mike Tyson hit Jake Paul, knocked him out, it would ruin the legacy that Paul wants to leave as he continues to fight. He didn't want to tarnish that, losing to a guy who's twice his age. So we'll look back either way. So to answer your question, 100% this was fixed. They sat it out and talked about it. It went to decision because that was a neutral way to end it, and it went the full 8 rounds to keep people entertained. They didn't want it to end quickly. 100% it was fixed. It was smart on them. A big money grab. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.
The controversy around the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight started before the fight even began. Tyson's pre-fight interview made things worse when he said, "Legacy is nothing." The statement upset many fans, especially those who admired Tyson as one of the greatest boxers ever. His dismissal of legacy seemed unusual, especially for a fighter known for his strength and power in the ring. Fans and analysts believed this comment showed that Tyson might have agreed to a fixed fight, putting money ahead of protecting his legendary reputation. Reports that Tyson was paid $20 million made people believe the fight was more about money than real competition. The idea that Tyson would risk his legacy for money upset his supporters, causing feelings of disappointment and anger.
If Mike Tyson threw that fight for $20 million, he sold his soul. Selling your soul is going against your I am. Selling your soul is going against your moral compass for financial gain or materialism, which is why you get this empty, soulless look in Mike's face, because it's regretful what he did. He told this young lady that legacy is nothing.
The financial reasons behind Tyson's actions were very different from the fighter fans had looked up to for years. Tyson was once the king of boxing, known for his power and authenticity. For many, his legendary status was built on his realness in the ring, not just his strength. Seeing him in what seemed like a staged performance was hard for some fans to accept. The disappointment wasn't just about Tyson's legacy, but also about what his possible involvement in a fixed fight meant for boxing overall. If even Tyson, an icon of the sport, could be involved in such claims, it raised serious concerns about the future of big matches, especially in the world of celebrity boxing.
He doesn't care about legacy, which is an indication that he sold his soul. We know Netflix sat him down. Hey, we just gotta make this look good. Hey, Mike, this is the new day and age. Think about the bag, think about the money. Let's not talk about the buffering fight that we had with Netflix last night, with all due respect. But I think Mike realize that signing a contract to do this and to script this fight was a big mistake.
Another tweet added to the controversy, this time from user Lightning WTB. The tweet said Jake had to grab Mike in the first round because he heard chin music and Mike held him up. It went on to say Mike hit Paul in the corner but let him walk out, suggesting that the fight wasn't real. This comment pointed out moments in the fight where Tyson seemed to hold back, allowing Paul to recover when he could have ended the fight. Fans who closely watched the fight noticed that Tyson, known for his knockout power and ability to finish fights, seemed unusually restrained. The idea that Tyson purposely let Paul off the hook only made people more suspicious that the fight was staged. These moments, along with the broader idea that the fight was scripted, created an atmosphere of doubt that overshadowed any positive parts of the event. As the fight went on, people noticed more strange moments that questioned its legitimacy. One example was Tyson allegedly whispering instructions to Jake Paul during the fight, leading viewers to wonder if Tyson was helping Paul follow a pre-arranged plan instead of actually fighting. Additionally, referees were seen signaling Paul to avoid certain moves, adding to the list of odd things that made the fight seem fake. These moments of supposed cooperation between Tyson and Paul became key points for critics who believed they showed the fight was a choreographed performance, not a real competition. Fans shared clips and screenshots of these interactions on social media, which only made the controversy worse. The belief that the fight was staged not only hurt the reputations of both fighters but also raised serious concerns about the fairness of celebrity boxing events.
Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson was 100% scripted. Mike Tyson repeatedly bit his boxing glove throughout the fight. When fights are scripted, fighters do weird gestures to signal that they're hurt. It's very possible Mike Tyson was biting on his glove to tell Jake Paul to calm down. Now, if that's not enough proof that this fight was scripted, in the middle of the fight, Mike Tyson is literally talking to Jake Paul while they are clinching. And in the middle of the fight, the referee told Jake Paul to stop measuring. For those of you who don't know, in boxing term,
the accusations of rigging not only hurt the credibility of the fight but also put Mike Tyson's legacy under heavy scrutiny. For decades, Tyson had been celebrated as one of the strongest fighters in boxing history, known for his powerful knockouts and fierce style in the ring. However, his involvement in a fight seen as a publicity stunt threatened to overshadow his legendary career. Critics said Tyson's decision to take part in such an event was a disrespect to his legacy and a betrayal of the core values of the sport. The idea that Tyson would choose money over protecting his reputation upset fans who had admired his past achievements. The fallout from the fight showed the risks of celebrity boxing, where the line between entertainment and real competition often becomes unclear.
Getting up for a knockout by seeing how far your opponent is with jab. The referee literally told Jake Paul to stop measuring, and before the fight, we see Mike Tyson and Jake Paul whispering stuff to each other.
The controversy around the Tyson-Paul fight grew when a Twitter user, Azar Lone, shared a supposed leaked script of the match. The post said, "This script is going viral on the internet, called the leaked script of Mike Tyson vs Jake Paul." This led to more belief that the fight's outcome had been planned. Fans and analysts looked closely at the alleged script, which supposedly described each round's events in detail, causing outrage over the lack of authenticity. The leaked script became the main focus in discussions about the fight, with critics saying it proved their suspicions that the event was staged. The idea that such a script could exist upset fans who valued the unpredictability and real emotions of boxing. Controversy around the script hurt both Paul and Tyson's reputations, with many fans asking for more transparency and responsibility in the sport. While the Tyson fight mainly blamed Tyson, Jake Paul also faced a lot of criticism. As a social media influencer turned boxer, Paul had already been a controversial figure in the sport, with many doubting the legitimacy of his boxing career. The claims of a fixed fight with Tyson only added to these doubts, making people question his accomplishments in the ring. Critics said Paul relied more on planned spectacles than on real competition, which hurt boxing. The idea that Paul cared more about making headlines than proving himself as a real boxer hurt his reputation and pushed away fans who cared about the sport's integrity. The Tyson fight didn't prove Paul's place in the boxing world, but instead showed how hard it was for him to earn respect as a serious competitor.
Mike Tyson biting on his gloves, whispering secrets to Jake Paul in the middle of the fight, and the referee literally telling Jake Paul to stop measuring during the fight. That should be enough proof that this fight is scripted.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.